has covered the Allman Brothers Band for 25 years, conducting hundreds of interviews. He's written for everybody, The New Yorker, Sports Illustrated, Wall Street Journal, all that sort of thing, People magazine. His new book is called, published by St. Martin's Press, it's called One Way Out, The Inside Story of the Allman Brothers. Please welcome to the program, Alan Paul. Good morning, Mr. Paul.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm not really used to being up and talking at this hour as you are.
Yeah. All of these bands, I'm just thinking about it, they all have problems, don't they? I mean, like I just watched that documentary about the Eagles, and they all hate Don Felder and each other. And just that, is there any band that ever stayed together? I mean, I guess the Stones get along pretty much. But
oh, no, not really. I think Keith and Mick have gone years without speaking with one another.
No, so the Allman Brothers are particularly interesting because everybody likes the Allman Brothers. I mean, even people who don't know much about them, like me, still like them, you know. So why? How were you able to get access to them and get them to agree to do this?
One step at a time. You know, I started covering the band in 1989. They had just reformed with Warren Haynes, I think, is a regular on your show.
I love him.
Yeah, he was a hot young guitarist at the time and nobody knew coming up. And they had just reformed. I was just getting my career started. I had always loved the band going back to when I was 12 years old, and I chose Duane Allman as my great American to write about in the 8th grade social studies class. And so I was very excited to write about them, got to know them. Then I started working at Guitar World, and just one thing after another, they liked the stories. They trusted me because I would primarily talk about the music. And when I would talk about the other things, and I think it carries through to the book, it's about how it affected the music. I didn't really want to talk about gossip just for gossip's sake.
Oh, when they got back together, 89, was it?
1989, yep. For 20th anniversary tour. They'd formed in 69.
Okay, so when did they break up?
Which time?
Well,
yeah, they formed in 69. They broke up in 75, 76. Then they got back together in 79. They broke up in 82. That 79 to 82 run was really the only time that was sort of embarrassing. So nobody really knew what to expect.
Why was it embarrassing?
Well, it's the one time when the music really didn't stand up to the tradition of the music, and I think a lot of it had to do with, they did one pretty good album when they first got back together, then their record company kind of flamed out, and they signed with Arista Records, run by Clive Davis, who had also signed the Grateful Dead, and they were sort of in the process of trying to make all these great old bands sound new, you know? Why would you want to sound like you were from 1971? Let's get some synthesizers in there, get some pop songwriters in.
Sure.
And, you know, it was sort of the normal stuff that's happening. I mean, probably the most embarrassing moment in the band is when they appeared on Solid Gold. And you can watch Marilyn McCoo interview Greg Allman. It's pretty painful.
When did Duane Allman die?
Duane Allman died in 1971, so he was only with the band for 2.5 years.
Yeah. How, by the age of 24, did he become such one of the phenomenal guitar players of all time, I guess?
You know, the guitar playing is one thing. It's you know, you can listen to it, you can understand the music. There's no real explanation except that he was completely dedicated to it from the time he was about 16. He dropped out of school. He was just completely driven. But what really struck me in writing the book, I mean, I think I understood his musical legacy pretty well, was just how vibrant of a person he was. You talk to these guys, members of the band, but also just other people who were close to him, and it's as if he walked out of the room a week ago or yesterday.
Wow.
He remains such a guiding force for them.
Who caused all the problems? Dickie Betts, is that the catalyst for all this?
Well, I'd say nobody has their hands completely clean, but Dickie clearly was a difficult guy to deal with.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's no secret that Greg has really struggled with various addictions, and so at times he was sort of checked out, and that allowed Dickie to just more and more take power. Dickie, I think, is an incredible musical presence. He certainly was the guy who pulled it out of the fire after Duane died, and nobody thought they'd be able to continue, and they did. They ended up having their greatest success. He wrote Ramblin' Man. He wrote Jessica. Great music in the void of Duane.
He's a pretty good guitar player, you think? Or?
Dickie's a fantastic guitar player, and he's
as good as Warren Haynes, or better?
You know, honestly, they're so different that it's really hard to compare. I'd say Warren is definitely more versatile. Warren you could throw into any situation, he would sound great. Dickie's much more of a stylist. He has his style, but that style he created is so unique. It's relatively simple, it sounds like. I mean, you know, a lot of guitarists could play that way, but not with that touch, not with that tone, and they didn't invent it.
Alan Paul, whose book One Way Out, The Inside Story of the Allman Brothers, Sounds fascinating, you know. Any surprises for even for you?
Oh yeah, there were a lot of surprises.
Like
I mean, small surprises.
Like?
Well, Warren Haynes never liked the first version of Soulshine that they recorded. There's a lot of little things like that. But in the bigger picture, you know, I was really taken again by the vitality of Dwayne and the extent to which he still runs the show in so many ways, being absent. I was also surprised to learn just how close Dwayne Allman came to quitting the Allman Brothers in 1970 and running off with Eric Clapton,
Right.
with Eric and the Dominoes.
Well, they were enamored of each other, weren't they?
Right, they were very enamored, and Dwayne really lit Clapton on fire for Layla and that whole album.
Sure.
And of course I knew that, but I didn't realize that at the end of it, Clapton gave him a very real offer to come off and join the band, and he very nearly accepted it.
Well, it sounded like a fascinating book. And
Thank you. There's no end of interesting stories.
oh,
with
God,
this
I
guy,
imagine.
so.